Hey guys, this is Justin.
And Joy.
And we've got a great episode in store for you today.
Do you have a preteen or a teen?
And if so, we're going to give you some tips on how to parent effectively. Happy birthday, Judah. Today's our son's birthday.
Yes.
Tune into this episode. It's going to be a good one.
It's real, raw, and uncut. Like there is no sugarcoating. We're real about it. If you're real people, message us. Raw and uncut.
What's up, guys? This is Justin.
And Joy.
And we're excited to be with you for another episode of the Real, Raw, and Uncut podcast. Hopefully you've been doing great since the last episode. Guys, if you're loving the show, do me a favor. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button here on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform. And if you're really loving the show, go ahead and leave us a 5-star review. Feel free to share some feedback with us. Joy and I definitely love to hear from you. We've got a great episode in store for you today, but before we get into that, I do want to remind you that this episode is brought to you by our friends over at Nextdoor Lending. Nextdoor Lending is a team of professionals that believe everyone should be treated as if they live next door. The founders and team members have more than 150 years of combined loan experience, helping clients all over the country choose the best loan program to help you accomplish your goals. Nextdoor Lending is currently licensed in over 26 states and has over 100 loan officers specializing in helping you get the best rate and terms. And so whether you're looking to refinance your home or you're looking to purchase your next home, call our friends over at Nextdoor Lending today at 888-885-3667 or visit their website at nextdoorlending.com. What's up, Joy?
Hey.
Hey.
Are you ready to have another preteen in our house?
Yep.
Turning 12.
Yep. Today is actually our son Judah's 12th birthday. And it's crazy to think that it's been 12 years.
I know.
It seems like yesterday.
Since he was in my belly, making me eat a bunch of manly, beastly burgers, meat, steaks, everything.
Yeah,
all the meat.
He was hungry for all of that.
He still is.
Yeah. And it's crazy because Judah is our last child. Mm-hmm. And to think that he's about to be a teenager is kind of crazy because he is just finishing 6th grade and he's going to be going into 7th grade next year. And what did he say the other day? He said, Mom, how many more years? What did he say?
Oh, gosh. What did he say? How many? 4 more. Well, high
6.
School. Yeah.
6 more years. And he said,
4
what?
years and I'll be graduating high school.
Yeah. And he's saying this as a 6th grader. He's like, 6 more years and I'll be graduating, Mom.
I said, Judah.
And Joy's like secretly crying on the inside.
No, I was like, wait, you mean 2 years until 8th grade graduation?
Yep.
For him.
Yep. And so we wanted to just do an episode. You know, we always think, what could we share that could encourage the listeners? Now, we know, obviously, we're not only talking to one group of people, meaning, you know, some of you guys don't even have kids. Some of you guys already have kids that have moved out. Right. Some of you guys have, you know, little kids. But we wanted to talk about today really on how do you prepare to be a parent to a preteen or a teenager. And, you know, when Joy and I got married, I had Angelina, who was 4 at the time, and Joy had Emilio, who was 1 at the time, 1.5, 2. And obviously we were many, many, many years away at that time of having teenagers. And now we have, our last one who's about to be a teenager. We've got, you know, a daughter who will be 25 this year with 2 grandkids. We have, you know, Emilio's going to be 22 this year. Tiara just, you know, finished her first year of college. She's going to be 19 this summer. And we've got Judah. And so Judah just turned 12 today. And we're kind of like revisiting what it means to start with a teenager again and or a preteener. Yeah, a teenage boy.
It's been it's been a handful of years since we've had a teenage boy in the house.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
I forget how funny they are.
Yeah.
And gross and just the things
right.
that they say when they're together. I'm just like, wait,
yeah.
Can you really say that?
But if you're a parent and let's just say, you know, you're approaching on preteen, you're in preteen, or you're getting ready to start those teenage years, we wanted to share some tips with you on how to prepare and get ready for that because you're never really prepared and ready for it. So, you know, when it happens for the first time, you learn from it, and the second time, the third time, now we're at the 4th time. Mm-hmm. Just like I know some people who've had their first kid,
right?
And they've looked at me like, "How do you have 4? Like, how do you do it? I can barely handle just 1."
Right.
And you just learn over time and through experience. And so we want to give you 5 solid tips for those of you that are parents who are about to either enter the preteen or teen years for the first time. And so, Joy, you can read number 1.
Ooh, prioritize open communication. Create a space where your child feels comfortable talking to you about anything. Listen more than speaking. Avoid overreacting so you know they can come to you with real issues, which is so important.
Right.
It's so important to be listening more than speaking, and they see it.
Yeah. Well, I think you do a better job of this than I do, because I know our kids come to you before coming to me. They definitely open up to you. I think they obviously feel more comfortable with you. And I just think that's something that is probably the case for most kids with moms, because moms are the one, who's typically not the disciplinary. Mom's usually not the one who's the tough person. I mean, sometimes it's the case, but the majority of the time it's the mom who the children feel a little bit more comfortable with to talk about anything. And I think that usually kids have a harder time talking to dad, especially if dad is the disciplinary. And so, Joy, you've done a really good job with that. And
thank you.
And the reason why, this is,
although I overreact sometimes, and I realized I have to not be doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's normal. Plus, you're Mexican.
And
when
I overreact internally.
Mexican women overreact.
Oh yeah, we get feisty.
I know,
but it has to stay in here.
Right.
It's hard to not let it come out, and that's the hardest part.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
No, it is true, and I think that and this is where I've struggled, and I've looked at all of our kids over the years, and I had this amazing, great relationship when they were little. And then once they started to, turn preteen and get into the years of where, they want to give you a side hug, or they don't think you're cool anymore, or, what does, Judah say? You're getting ready to drop Judah off, and you reach over to, give him a hug and a kiss. It's like, Mom, don't do that. Don't do that. It's like those are the years.
He will do it.
Well, I mean, if his friends are it's just
certain things,
it changes,
times,
right?
Yeah, it does.
So it's like,
I can't say certain words or certain things when his friends are right there. Mom, don't say that.
Right, because you still try to call him little baby names.
Yeah, I do.
You can't do that.
I do it in the car, but I forget who's around.
Yeah,
he hates that.
Of course he does. He's a boy.
I know.
And so, but I think when your kid is getting older, it hurts when they're changing like that.
Yeah,
because you're so
different.
used to how things were, but what we've learned is parenting is it's almost like different chapters and different seasons that you go through. And I think now that we're on our 4th child, getting ready to be a preteen and then teenager, we're more prepared than we have been before.
Yes,
and so,
for sure.
But open communication is important, because if your child feels that they can come talk to you even about the hard stuff, the stuff they're maybe being tempted with or dealing with or struggling with, I think is important. And if a child doesn't feel like they can be safe with you, who can they be safe with?
Right.
Which it's important to be able to have that communication. Number 2 is set clear but flexible boundaries. Teens need structure, but they also need room to grow. Set clear expectations around behavior, technology use, and responsibilities, but be willing to adjust as they mature. This is a big one, because I think naturally, especially with technology, you see it. Most people are putting an iPad or a phone in their baby's hand. And then, if you're going to try to, set technology rules with kids, as they become preteens and teenagers, but you didn't have all those years, it's going to be tough to try to set those boundaries. But not only that, I think letting kids grow and giving them room to grow is important, because I think for me, it's I've always wanted to kind of control things. But just trusting that, they're gonna have to learn.
Yeah.
And they're gonna have to grow through those things. What's number 3?
Number 3 is stay involved without hovering. Know their friends, what they're into, and how they spend their time. Be present in their life, but respect their growing need for independence and privacy.
Yeah, and you do a good job of that, because you won't let Judah go and stay the night somewhere unless you've met the parents.
Yeah, he only goes really one place, maybe 2 places, and I've known them since they were in,
Why is that important?
Because there's just too many crazies out there. And you have to know not just their friends, but their friends' family, because if they're hanging out at their house, you've got to be able to trust that they're safe.
Right.
Right? And so I'll invite Judah's friends over our house, a bunch of the boys over, and I've let Judah go to his couple of his friends' house, and I just like to know that they're safe. like
you
every
get to,
mom.
and you get to know, where their kids are going.
Well, yeah.
But then also being involved enough without hovering is taking them to these different places, hanging out with them,
Like even like downtown Plymouth has like their fall fest and different activities that they have. And I've been able to do twice where I took the boys all down there and I let them walk on their own and they stay together. And the moms were like, all right, stay together, no bullying, like be nice and enjoy it and come back in 1 hour, check in.
and then you and the moms are there still having your own time, but you're still involved.
And then they're responsible to come back and check in on us, check in with us wherever we tell them where we're going to be.
Mm-hmm.
They come back and check in and we're good and go back out if you want, whatever you want to do. But giving them a time that they have to check in because then that makes them feel responsible.
Number 4, model what you want to see. Teens are watching how you handle stress, relationships, and responsibilities. Be the example you want them to follow. Integrity, kindness, discipline, and self-care go a long way. So, for instance, you can't tell your kid to put their seatbelt on, but you don't wear a seatbelt.
That's true.
You can't. I mean, it's obviously you can as a parent tell your kids what you want them to do or don't do, and they'll do that because they're your kid. But are they going to do that when they grow up and you're no longer there? And so, what I love about Judah, one of the things is I always hold the door open for whether it's us as a family or for other people.
And he does
so now naturally Judah does that as well, right? So Judah, will hold the door open for people. And one of the things that we've heard from all his friends' parents is how respectable he is, respectful, and just a great kid, that he is. And so
very sweet.
Model what you want to see in your child. And then Joy, number 5.
Number 5 is choose connection over control. Your relationship is more important than being right all the time. Focus on building trust and connection, even when discipline or conflict is necessary. That's huge too.
Yeah. And that's tough because I know early on I learned, I would say I had to learn the hard way with Emilio and with Angelina because I was very controlling and very, very much disciplinary. Like it was always hardcore discipline, spankings, timeouts or whatever. But with Tierra and Judah, I've had to learn how to do things a lot different. Because, Tierra obviously is pretty sensitive. And so, I mean, I would raise my voice just a little bit and she'd start crying.
Right.
And then
that's all she needed.
Yeah. And but at the same time, it's about connecting with your kid, right? They want to feel like they can trust you. They want to feel connected to you. Even when you have to be that disciplinary or, conflict is necessary, it's super important. And so, as a parent, you can, again, never really prepare yourself the changes that come along with having a teenager. And so we just wanted to share some tips and some ways that we've been able to work with our 3 oldest, and then now obviously entering back into that stage because me and Joy always joke like, if we didn't have Juno, we'd be empty nesters right now because, we had Judah and he's 7 years different from Tierra.
Yep.
And so, but we love having him in the house because now we can really focus on, him, and really raise him and put a lot of attention onto him, which has been great.
Yeah, it's fun. It's actually really fun to go back to like raising a young boy because these boys are funny.
Yeah.
The words, the terms, and skibbity doo dah, and all the different terms. And they're like, "Mom, say this," or he's like, "Mom, say this." My friends want to hear you say it. I'm like, "What does it mean?" Wait, hold on.
Right.
Like, it embarrass me.
And he is a good kid. Judah has straight A's at school. He's really involved in his youth group. He loves the Lord. He plays sports, and he's overall a great kid. And so, we've been fortunate and blessed to have that. And again, that goes back to how you model your home and how you lead your home and how you raise your kids.
Depending on how many kids you have, they're all different. They all
different.
have different characteristics. They all have different strengths and weaknesses, and the way you parent one is not going to be the same for the other one.
Yeah.
And that's just true.
Yep. And you could be doing all the right things and your kid's still a butthead. I mean, they'll grow out of that.
They'll grow out of it.
Yeah, because I was that butthead. So
you're kind of still a butthead.
Well, sometimes, yeah. So hopefully this helps just a little bit. We just wanted to, share this episode with you and really just share some ways that you can prepare yourself and be ready to preteen or parent to teen. And we know that that's not easy, but I will say this too shall pass. They will get older and it will get better. And so hopefully you enjoyed this episode of the Real Raw Uncut segment of the podcast. If you're loving the show, do us a favor. Again, hit the subscribe button here on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform. Feel free to reach out to us, leave feedback. You can find us on social media at The Official Justin Ford. You can also find Joy. Send us a message, send us an email. We would love to chat with you. We'd love to hear from you. Before we wrap up today's episode, we do want to remind you that this episode is brought to you by our friends over at Nextdoor Lending. Nextdoor Lending is not just a sponsor of our show. They are our preferred lender for the Justin Ford real estate team. This is who we entrust all of our buyers with. They have a A+ Better Business Bureau rating, over 1,000 5-star reviews. And so if you're a buyer looking to get pre-approved this year and buy a home, call our friends over at Nextdoor Lending. If you are a homeowner looking to refinance, maybe take some cash out, call our friends over at Nextdoor Lending. And if you're a real estate agent looking to partner with a great mortgage professional, call our friends over at Nextdoor Lending today at 888-885-3667 or visit their website at nextdoorlending.com. Two things we always like to leave you with. Number one, it's not how you start. What matters is how you finish. And number two, with God, all things are possible. God bless you guys. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.